Well, welcome to the November Sail Points for the San Diego Argonauts. This is the Sail 50 class. We're going to have 3 races today. The Sail Points are our monthly races. We keep track throughout the year and name a fleet champion at the end of the 12 races for the year. Now the wind today is a little strange. The wind is out of the south, and so we have, because of the orientation of our pond, this is kind of a reaching start, and we will be starting going from the right to the left. The wind is 6 knots or so out of the south. We've got 5 seconds to the start here. There is the bell going off. So what you wanted to do is to be at the far end of the start line at speed, and of course you'd like clear air, which is a little hard to do, but that is the goal. Again, this is a reaching start, not the normal kind of start that we have. I am the red boat that fortunately right now is out in front. It's got a little red stripe on the jib. I have a miniature camera mounted to the top of my hat, so wherever I look, I'm sailing that red boat. Wherever I look is going to be the picture that you see on the screen here. So we are reaching to our weather mark at this time, and also just coming into the picture to the far left is the offset mark. So we're going to take that mark to port. And now we're headed downwind pretty much. There I go. I just popped wing and wing. Boats are pretty much parading at this point, and I'm going to jibe at this offset mark, and we're going to reach back to our right. So now we're on port tack, and again this is just a reach. Now there's a few holes out there. The wind actually looks pretty good. Like I said, 6 knots, maybe gets up to 8. Sometimes it fills in a little bit more than that, but there are a few holes. So if you get too far to the far side of the pond, you can see it a little light over there. You see a little bit of shiny water. So stand pretty much in the middle of the pond's the right thing to do. So as far as learning anything, which is why I do these videos, again the goal was have clear air and be at speed when the bell goes off. And so it's all about timing, and you need to be looking at where the other boats are at, maybe 15-20 seconds before the start of the race, and get yourself lined up and maneuver around. Now this is let's see, why aren't we going, I'm asking myself, oh, I'm close hauled right now. There we go. I knew we have to take both these marks that were just in view. That was the start line, and we're taking both these marks to port. So I am close hauled right now, because this is more like the weather leg. So I'm on starboard, a little bit of traffic coming up. He's heading to wind, so he's not going to be doing too much till he bears off. And I'm going to have to tack again to get around this mark. And once I do that, I'll be able to reach off a little bit. And again, it's just a close reach, headed up, back up to what is the weather mark. This is a lap and a half course for us. So not too much in the way of tactics, because again the wind's out of the south, the pond runs east-west, so this is a lot like a parade. There'll be some other opportunities that I'll talk about, some passing that did go on. I didn't always get off to a clean start. Matter of fact, number 5, one of the other Sail 50s, did a very good job with several of their starts. So I believe we'll just break off at this point. This is really a parade at this point. Once you get your clear air, I'm watching the telltales as close as I can. I'm watching the telltale at the top of my mast to see what the wind's doing, what direction it's coming from. You're just trying to sail the boat fast. And my boat, by the way, is minimum weight. It's right on the legal minimum weight, and I think especially in reaching conditions like that, that's what you want for boat speed. This parading is a boat speed issue. Everybody's going to have clear air on a reach, but if you're going to pull out from the rest of the crowd, you're going to do that based on boat speed, not necessarily tactics. Wind shifts do not play much of an issue here. Now I'm saying that the wind's getting a little bit light at this point. You see how much I'm reaching down, not reaching down, but having to head down a little bit. Now I actually thought about tacking for a minute. So let's stay with this for a minute. I was going to break off and we'd go to race 2, but let's stay with this for a minute. So wind's pretty light. boat's hobby horsing a little bit. I'm just trying to keep it moving. The telltale on top of my boat says that I've got some pretty good wind. There we go. You see how the sail's just completely fluttering. So that wind was trying to come out of the west. And of course I lost a lot of way in doing that. So let's see if I'm getting some speed up here. I've got another boat coming into view off my hip. I'm a little concerned about him, number 15. He's got great speed. He got that wind a little bit before I did. So now this is a boat race. So yeah, let's stick with this. This is all about having the sail trim for the direction we want to go. And we're going to be heading all the way down the pond. So this is going to be a reach. If you can see, I think you can see in the video, my sails are cracked just a touch, a couple of clicks out from where I'd be on close hauled. And I'm trying to work up to weather a little bit, but I'm interested in keeping my boat speed up because I want to make sure that I stay out front of that boat that is behind me. He's just a little bit out of view. Now those marks we're just passing, those were the start line there, not marks for the course right now. We're actually headed up toward the end of the pond, which is probably another 100 feet, 120 feet or so. So I'm back in good air. I was able to pull away a little bit. I don't think I'm going to be looking back at the boat that was behind me, but we're leaving him behind. I'm stretching out on him a little bit. I was concerned. If he got on my air, that would not be a good thing. Okay, well the rest of the race I think is a little on the more routine side. We're going to go around these marks and then head downwind for the finish. So we'll break off here and we'll go pick up start for race number 2.
40 seconds.
Okay, here is race number 2 coming up. The wind has shifted a little bit to the southwest, which means that we are now starting from left to right, as opposed to in the first race we were going right to left. So this is race number 2. Wind is still out of the south. I'm the red boat. I am close hauled, kind of working up to weather there. So the wind very much out of the south. 10 seconds till the start. I'm just trying to get the timing down.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so I had my clear air. I was trying to work up the weather while I was killing some time. I've got clear air. This is a close reach, not close haul, just a close reach. I'm in pretty good position. The wind's filled in a little bit. That's number 5 that now is ahead of me. That's the boat in the lead, number 5. He was the first to get some good air that was coming off that south shore. Kind of jumped out there. He's looking good. So at this point, in the red boat, I'm just in the chase. I'm going to just try to catch up with him. Passing a boat on a reach is almost impossible, at least for me in the Soling 50. If he's defending himself, you aren't going to be able to get on his air. So the best I'm going to be able to do at this point is just try to sail up to his stern and keep the pressure on. If I could get an inside overlap at this mark, that would be great, but I'm certainly not optimistic about being able to do that. So I'm going in behind him. He's gone close hauled, or did he tack? Yeah, he tacked. He's on starboard now. Again, I'm the second boat. Excuse me, he's on port. I'm the second boat. I went a little bit further to weather because I wanted to have clear air, and basically we're working to weather right now. He's got okay air. Looks like I've got some pretty good air there. I've got a little bit of heel on the boat, but as we go into the mark, of course, I'm going to be coming in on port, so he'll have me with port and starboard right away. So I'll be ducking his stern. Just getting around. That's the offset mark for the weather mark, and now we're going to be reaching a broad reach, kind of somewhere between a broad reach and a close reach as the wind moves around. We're headed down to the marks that initially made the starting line. So we're in a little bit of a parade at this point. Again, not much to do. when you go into weather, beating to weather, of course you've got the wind shifts, the boats can spread out, so you get opportunities to pass, to gain ground or lose ground. You have port and starboard situations. A lot more tactics involved. This is largely this is a parade. And I guess this was not a lap and a half race. Usually we do a lap and a half, but this is going to be a one-lap race because we're headed all the way down to the leeward mark. So we're headed down to a gate that's going to be at the left side. Those marks are, well, they're just starting to come into view. We're going to go around those marks and then go to the finish line for the finish. So number 5, the boat in the lead, and I have pretty much broken away from the rest of the pack. They're behind us to the right out of the view. They'll come into view, I guess, as we round the mark and we head back the other direction. So I am clear astern. Boat in front's going to have certainly all the right of way he needs. We're close hauled on starboard. Get around the mark. Tack off to port. And now, as you can see, I decided to sail a little bit higher and with better speed, and try to get on top of him and get his air, but I got mixed up a little bit with the traffic, which was on starboard coming down, and I lost a little bit of ground that I had gained there. So I'm a little bit to weather, but I'm certainly not blocking his wind. His wind is clear ahead of my position. So again, this is a boat race. Now I've got an overlap to weather, and that is the finish line that we're going to, that blue mark you see on the right hand side. So my only hope at this point is to be claiming inside room at that mark. And as I head down, and now I blanket him a little bit with the wind because we were headed downwind. I got to weather of him, blanketed him. I was able to accelerate, and just by the hair on my chin, I won that race. That was certainly a fair amount of luck that was in there in doing that. So that was the big excitement for the race. Not a lot going on in these reaching conditions. Again, much like a parade. So we're going to break off at this point. We're going to go pick up race number 3. Okay, here is our last race, race number 3. Again, we're going from the left to the right, reaching conditions. 40 seconds until the start. Wind's kind of up and down a little bit. My goal is to be, oh, you can see me get knocked over pretty good there with some good wind. 8 seconds till the start.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, I'm not on the line as much as I'd like to be. Number 5, I think, is the boat that's out in front of me. He was to weather of me. He was more on the line. So no surprise when the gun went off and we got moving. He's clear ahead of me by a boat length or so. So again, I'm chasing him. The other boats are off the screen to the left. Again, the wind was up and down. We were fortunate that we got some good wind, again coming out of the south. And we're going to be heading up to the weather mark, which is actually more like a reach mark, and then actually having to beat to get to the offset mark, which is to the left of the 2 boats you see in the picture. The right is the weather mark. So again, I'm just chasing number 5. So let's see. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so number 5 continued on port, and I decided as soon as I got around the mark I was going to tack on the starboard, and I got a little bit more wind than he did. I don't know that I knew that I saw any wind over there, but as soon as I got around the mark I knew I didn't want to be following him, so I tacked on the starboard. And now I'm headed to the offset mark. Number 5 is behind me, so I've got opened up some good distance there. I don't know if I have to tack to get around the mark or what's going to happen here. Let's see. I'm luffing my sails. I'm pinching up. I never really tacked. I just pinched up to get around the mark. Wind got a little bit light there, so I used the fact that there wasn't any wind blowing to slow me down to actually kind of shoot the mark, as we say. Number 5 still working up there. Now he's also headed up into the wind a little bit. His sails are flapping a little bit. And unfortunately at this point he has just stopped on the mark, basically. He got head to wind, he lost his way. You lose your way, you don't have any steerage, and he is parked, and it's going to take him, as I remember, it took him a while to get off that mark. You really, again, if you don't have any way, your rudder's not going to do any good. So basically you're waiting for your boat to start backing up, the wind to blow it backwards, and there's not a lot of wind there to blow it backwards, so your rudder has some effect and you can turn one way or the other and get going. So I got fortunate with that, and I'm out here all by myself pretty much. Again, reaching conditions, so it's kind of a parade off to the offset marks that you see coming into view. So not real exciting racing. This is a little bit of tactics, but mostly it's however you got off at the start and boat speed. So I'm just going to jibe around this mark. No, I'm just going to slack my sails off. I'll jibe around the next mark and I'll reach back from left to right. But pretty much at this point, you'd figure that the race is pretty much over unless you make a big mistake. So we'll stay with it a minute and see if the other boats come into view here. So again, we're just reaching. I'm reaching up to the weather mark. I'm working up a little bit. I want to get back kind of in the middle of the pond where I can see what the wind's doing. The wind's attached. The wind on the far side is very light. You see all that glassy water that comes into view. I've got nice wind there. I'm very happy with my boat speed. There are the other boats. You can see we've got a substantial distance. So I'm just, what can I say? I'm feeling pretty lucky at this point, just keeping the boat moving, and there we go. Now there's some of the wind shifts that are happening. Kind of got to close hauled and actually had to head down a little bit, but that wind will come back just in 5 or 10 seconds. It came around enough that I decided I was going to tack, so here I am. Went over on the starboard. Pretty good air. Oh, now I got headed again. So that was a good example of wind shifts. You see that wind shifting, you see those sails luffing and fluttering. If that would have stayed, I would have kept going out on starboard. It didn't. It went away. So you're just trying to, as I talk about sailing on a lifted tack, that's what you want to be doing if you are close hauled. That wind is shifted back. You can see my sails are eased quite a bit. And just reaching, I'm going to come up to this mark. This is going to be our weather mark, I think, or is this the start? Maybe this is the start. Yeah, that's the start line. So that's a mark of the course that I need to go around. Need to take these 2 marks to port. And I am close hauled at this point, so let's stay with this and see what happens. I'm not remembering. So I've got, again, the wind's up and down. It's a little bit fluky. It's shifty. This is, it's going to start raining very, very soon after this. So the front moving through is just generating some unpredictable wind. So basically, I tacked up to the offset mark, got around it. Now I've got the sails cracked off, and I'm just kind of reaching. So not real exciting racing at this point, but that's the way it is sometimes. So I think with that, we'll sign off with our races for the month of November. And it wasn't very educational this time, not very exciting, but sometimes that's just the way it is. You go out and have some fun. So thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you next month.